Manchester United have just beaten Bournemouth 3-0 to go level on points with Newcastle in third place with a game in hand. If you're a Man United fan, there are three key takeaways from this game. Number one, we took care of business in a game that would be drop points under Ollie or under Ranić. Number two, Erik Ten Hag managed to do number one while rotating the team in big areas. Van de Beek over Bruno at 10 was a big call, and Maguire and Lindelof starting with Malacia and Varane out of the team was also a big call. And number three, top four is well within our grasp after 9 points from the last 3 games, and we'll talk about exactly how United will get there in this video. Now, before we get into the analysis, I just want to share that your incredible support means a lot to me. The fact that thousands of you watch my videos every week is unbelievable. So don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel so I can keep bringing you tactical analysis of the best games in Europe. Thank you for watching, and let's get into it. We start with Man United in possession, who started in a 4-2-3-1 but played in a 3-3-2-2 with Rashford and Martial up top. Now, two things that I noticed that were interesting about these two today was that they were swapping positions a lot more than in previous games, and that Martial in particular did not get involved in the game enough, so he was dropping very deep at times, like almost at the halfway line. And the problem that this creates is that there's obviously one lesser body inside the box that, Eriksen, Lindelof, or Maguire can play balls to, or that we can even play through. So Martial needs to have a bit more discipline to stay up top. I know we didn't create a lot for him. Only the Casemiro cross in the 55th minute was the real chance that he had. Only 2 shots and 25 touches in this game today. So that shows that we are yet to be Erik Ten Hag's Ajax, right? But we are getting there. For example, in the 21-22 season, the striker for Ten Hag, which was Sebastian Haller, scored 34 goals and got 9 assists in 43 games, right? That's more than a goal or assist every game that they played. And obviously, we're nowhere near getting Martial or Rashford to those numbers. My point is that that is somewhere we can hope to get once Ten Hag has his imprint fully on this team. The second interesting thing that I saw about Ten Hag's team today was the rotations between Eriksen, Shaw, and Casemiro. Normally, we see a 3-3-1-3 with Bruno in the hole in this area here, but today we had Van de Beek there. So Casemiro was sometimes dropping into center back, and Eriksen was taking his position. Luke Shaw was actually playing the CDM role while Eriksen was dropping out to the left-hand side. And the only reason I can come up with for Ten Hag to do this today was Bruno missing from this area here, right? Bruno and Eriksen understand each other's games really well. So usually when Eriksen, makes that occasional 3 or 4 runs into the box, Bruno takes up his space and tries to find him. Today, he was playing on the right-hand side, and the only person that could have done this was Van de Beek, and he doesn't really do that. That's not his game. When he runs into this area, he would prefer to play a short pass to Casemiro, short pass to Rashford, and run beyond him, instead of, play that ball to Eriksen or Martial or Bruno on the other side. So Van de Beek being in the team made us play slightly differently, but it was still a competent style of football. It was very interesting to see how Ten Hag adopted to Bruno not playing in his usual role. I just want to touch on Aaron Wan-Bissaka soon because looks like Dalot's back in the team now. We've seen some positives and negatives from him. The positives being some of the tackles that he can put in on one-on-one situations. If we're playing against an Mbappe in the Champions League or something, sure, you want someone like Wan-Bissaka to be there, but Dalot's no slouch in that area. But the negatives come in massive areas that are very important to a Ten Hag side because fullbacks are supposed to be in midfield for Ten Hag, and they have to be on the ball a lot, and they have to be good at passing and dribbling, and Wan-Bissaka is not good at those things. He had only 71% pass accuracy today, and 2 things that he did just showed me why he will never be a starting right back for Ten Hag. He tried to switch the play to the left-hand side twice, and he horribly underhit or overhit the ball each time. And it just seems like a technique thing to me. I feel like he just doesn't know how to kick the ball in a way that is required to play the ball from one side to the other. So I think we'll see a backup right back at Man United sometime very soon. Might even see Wan-Bissaka finish out the season, but definitely next season going forward, we will see a different backup right back. Squad rotation is our biggest talking point for today because Erik Ten Hag made 3 key changes to the team and it impacted the way we played in big ways. Both center backs being new in Lindelof and Maguire, Van de Beek playing in number 10 instead of Fernandes, and because Antony was injured, Fernandes was pushed out to the right hand side. Starting with the center backs, Lindelof and Maguire are just not as fast. Because of this, they have to play 5 to 10 yards deeper, which pulls the whole team back 5 to 10 yards and creates bigger spaces between any forwards that decide to make runs in behind, right? So if Rashford decides to run in behind, there's a bigger gap between him and the center back line who's playing the pass than if we were on the halfway line with Varane and Martinez. Because these guys are playing deeper, they can also not step into midfield as easily. As we saw in the Forest game, Varane was doing this a lot. He was stepping into midfield, and so was Eriksen/Shaw, who were playing on this side. They were stepping into midfield quite easily, which provided us that extra body to put pressure on the opposition half. Another thing we couldn't do today. The third thing is we didn't have a left-footed center back playing over here. And that means a few more touches are needed on the ball before it can be played forward. So if Shaw or Eriksen play a ball to Lindelof or Rashford plays it back to Lindelof, he has to take that extra touch, get it across his body before he can play it forward. Versus someone like Shaw or Martinez, they can play it first time with their left foot, and so can Eriksen. Donny at Cam was also a big issue for us. And he is worse than Bruno and Eriksen in more ways than one, right? He struggles with passing and dribbling in tight spaces. He seems to crumble under any defensive pressure and seems to give the ball away. We've seen him a lot today where he tries to do this give and go with Shaw or Casemiro or Rashford and tries to run in behind to get the ball. And there's any sort of pressure on him, he seems to give it away. He can't dribble through that tight space. And most of the time, they just ignore him and move forward. So what's the point of Van de Beek being in the team? He also doesn't have the passing range of Bruno and Eriksen, like we already discussed. When he drops into these areas and players run past him, he seems to only be able to make that short pass. He doesn't seem to have that ball into the box that can lead to an assist or be an assist. All that being said about these 3 players, the fact that Erik Ten Hag took these risks today and we still managed to win 3-0 while scoring some amazing goals is testament to Erik Ten Hag's man management and squad rotation abilities. I would say it's a perfect 10 out of 10 score for Ten Hag this game because we didn't look amazing, but we still managed to get the job done. And I feel like Ollie or someone like Ranić would have played a full strength 11 again today because this was a must-win game. And we'd be in trouble by the time we played Man City or Arsenal on Jan 14th and 22nd, I believe. Next, let's talk about why Man United will get into the top 4 this season. Let me take you guys back to October 2nd, 2022. Man United had just played their 7th game in the league. We had been thrashed by Man City 6-3 at the Etihad, and we were outside the top 4 on 12 points. We had scored only 11 goals. We had conceded 14 goals and our goal difference was -3. 10 games later, we're on 35 points. We're tied in 3rd place with Newcastle with a game in hand. We've scored 16 more goals since then, which is not amazing, but we've only conceded 6 more goals in the 10 games that we've played. And our goal difference now is +7. We look extremely difficult to beat. We might not score freely, but we won't concede easily either. Our first 11 looks fantastic. I feel like we can beat any team if we're fully fit. But our bench is one of the worst in the top 6. I would say the difference between the first 11 and the bench is probably only second to Arsenal, and that's a testament to how good their first team is. Our center backs and midfield are crisis areas. Varane and Martinez can only be replaced by Maguire and Lindelof, and we saw today how much of a difference that made. Bruno, Eriksen, and Casemiro, the second options for those 3 are Van de Beek, Fred, and McTominay. And now that Van de Beek is injured, God knows who will play instead of Bruno. Our fullbacks and front line are okay in my opinion, without a striker in January, because at least we have a lot of options, right? Garnacho, Elanga, Antony, Sancho, these are 4 players that can come into the team even after our starting 3. If Erik Ten Hag can rotate the squad enough throughout the rest of the season and keep the first 11 fit, we will definitely get top 4. Let's round off the analysis by giving our man of the match. Roberto Carlos is back in the building, baby. He's always been a great runner from left back to the box, to the edge of the box in these areas, and does great work with Rashford. He's a great passer and progressive passer, a very underrated side of his game. He had 10 passes into the final third today, which was a game high, 117 touches, also a game high, and played in 3 different positions. He was in left midfield, center back, and CDM, like we already discussed, so extremely versatile. Pep's fullbacks usually have these stat lines and versatility, so that tells you how good he was and how good he has been under Ten Hag. Let's not forget he started the season on the bench because of Malacia being in the team. He got his goal today where he was in a good position to tap it in, and he played that wonderful cross to Bruno in this area here that he passed to Rashford for the Rashford goal. And that might as well have been an assist, right? That's how good that pass was. It was considered a key pass, but it should have been an assist. So absolutely amazing performance from Shaw today. He was easily my man of the match, and I'm so happy for him. Hopefully he gets a new deal and we see more of these great performances from Shaw. So United's next game in the league is on Jan 14th versus Man City before we play against Arsenal on Jan 22nd. So 2 massive games coming up for Ten Hag in the league, and that will really tell us if it was all hype, no substance versus Forest, Wolves, and Bournemouth, because you could say we were supposed to beat those teams, right? But against the top 2 teams in the league, how will we perform? I hope we can get 4 points out of those 2 games, but we will have to wait and see. Thank you guys for watching. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.